Well, very good evening and welcome to the weekend edition of Primetime News. We are coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you the news tonight, I'm Joel Outskun. Let's start off with a look at our headlines for tonight.
A special statement from the President. Prime Minister commences tour of China. Minister SP Disanayake comments on the probe against Basil Rajapaksa. A statement from the All Ceylon Peasants Federation. Former national level cricketer H. Premasiri shot dead.
We start off the news with a look at the President's diary this evening. President Maithripala Sirisena attended a special interview today. The interview was moderated by journalist Sean Wijatunga and was also attended by Minister Susil Premajanta and Deputy Minister Ajit P. Pereira.
ආණ්ඩුවේ ක්‍රමය පිළිබඳව අත්දැකීම් මේ රටේ සියලු දෙනාටම අලුත් අත්දැකීම්.
Everyone is having a novel experience on the operations of the government. This government is something new to the general public, the members of the government, politicians in the country, public servants, businessmen and all citizens of this country. We are a strong and sound government. As President, I received over 6.2 million votes of the people. We have shown a two-thirds majority in Parliament. The recent Human Rights Council resolution cited that while there is a two-thirds majority in Parliament, why are some matters being delayed? It is clear that we are a strong government and we are not a weak government. We can present a number of facts. We are clearly a strong government and the government cannot be shaken.
එතකොට බොහොම පැහැදිලි අපි ශක්තිමත් ආණ්ඩුවක්. අපි දුර්වල ආණ්ඩුවක් නෙවෙයි. අපිට මේ කරුණු ගණනාවක් ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න පුළුවන්. පැහැදිලිවම අපි ඊටාම ශක්තිමත් ආණ්ඩුවක්. අපිව හොල්ලන්න බැරි ආණ්ඩුවක්.
The 29th Law Asia Conference, which also celebrates 50 years in supporting the rule of law in the region, commenced last evening under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Law Asia brings together the peak bodies representing lawyers of the region and individual members of the legal community from around the world.
අපේ සමාජය තුල වගේ මානව සමාජය තුල මිනිසා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන ඒ යහපත් සමාජයකට අවශ්‍ය.
It is of utmost importance that the three pillars, the judiciary, the legislature and the executive fulfill its duties to strengthen the rule of law that is necessary for the functioning of a good society. This is something that the public hopes for in the society. I will now forward a question that is asked from me frequently by the public. That is, what policies does the judiciary follow when adjourning a case to be taken up on another day? Important cases that the public are interested in are being adjourned for a long period of time. This has been happening in the recent past.
කුමක්ද යන්න මේ රටේ පොදු ජනතාව විමසීමෙන් සිටිනවා.
The missing persons office is not in any way an instrument to witch hunt anyone. We had a witch hunt when the commander of the army was brought before the courts, stripped of his ranks and put into jail. We don't want that happening to anyone again. Also, we are reminded of the fact that this was a terrorist campaign led by a terrorist organization and all those members are dead. So there is no way in which you can prosecute them. But there are a large number of people who died in the north and in the south, and some who went missing after the war was over. We want to know the truth. But truth will lead to reconciliation.
Veterans in the legal profession also spoke at the event.
If the legal system fails to command the confidence of the people, if it is unable to respond effectively to uphold the fundamental values, and if it fails to have any meaning to them, then we face the reality that it will be rejected in essence and in spirit. It is also to be remembered that it is not sufficient that justice is not only being done, but it must appear that justice is being done. The ever-increasing criticism of the justice delivery system demands for having introspection in examining the problems faced by judicial system and recommending solutions for them so that justice may become simple, speedy, less costly, effective and substantive.
The legal fraternity of Sri Lanka was a critical and perhaps impelling factor in the change. We never rested until sanity was restored. Your Excellency, it is my belief that history will judge you to be the Nelson Mandela of modern Sri Lanka, the citizen who united our country and its people and created one nation and one people.
We all long for a healthy and lasting peace in our lands. We have to embrace the basics of equality and fairness, especially in our systems of law and governance, if true peace is to prevail. Without these fundamentals, everything else will fade into insignificance. Truth-seeking and meaningful reconciliation for all the sins of all of us in the past is essential if true peace is to prevail.
The conference was declared open on its second day today by the chairperson of the Office for National Unity and Reconciliation, former President Chandrika Bandarunayaka Kumaratunga.
We are aware that constitutional reform in itself will not suffice to heal the pain, suffering and anger caused by years of bloody conflict and to bring divided communities together in friendship and with understanding in order that they coexist in peace and harmony. I take this opportunity to urge the legal community of Sri Lanka and the world, wherever there may be the need for reconciliation and peace, to actively engage in assisting the reconciliation processes, in addition to being guardians of the law.
And in some shocking news from the Rio Olympics 2016, the world's most decorated Olympian, American swimmer Michael Phelps, who was dominating the Rio Olympics, finally met his match today as he was defeated in the 100-meter butterfly event. The event was won by a 21-year-old Singaporean by the name of Joseph Schooling, who once idolized Phelps himself.
The 100-meter butterfly final of the 2016 Rio Olympics took place this morning, and all eyes were on Michael Phelps as he looked to dominate once again. Joseph Schooling clocked in a time of 50.39 seconds to beat Phelps and set a new Olympic record. By the time Phelps bagged 8 gold medals at the Olympics in Beijing, Schooling was just 13 years old, and during the game he got to meet his idol. However, 8 years later, this young man has been able to surpass his idol. It just goes to show that if you try hard enough, you can achieve anything you want.
Well, back to some local news. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe commenced his 5-day official visit to China today.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who left the island last night, will tour the southwest of China until the 17th. The Prime Minister is expected to visit a number of institutions that cater to development such as industrial zones, cargo terminals, technical areas, financial centres, as well as creative design agencies. A group including Ministers Anuruddha Shanayappa, Patali Champika Ranawaka, Chairman of the Western Development and Megapolis Project Ajitari Costa, Managing Director of the Development Agency Mangalayappa, Chairman of the Southern Development Board Shiranta Herath, Advisor to the Minister of Strategic Development and International Trade Ryan Rockwood are accompanying the Prime Minister.
Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadasa commented on the Office of Missing Persons.
The Office of Missing Persons is not being established through a bill to pursue a certain individual and seek revenge. The Office of Missing Persons is being set up to discuss what had taken place in the past, forget those bitter memories, and undertake a new journey from the lessons learned from those bitter memories. These persons term the Office of Missing Persons as an attempt to hunt the war heroes and veterans. What kind of a lie is this? The war heroes will not be hunted down for any reason. Such a hunt will never take place. The government of good governance will protect the war heroes. The minister was speaking at an event in Manmune, Batiklo to provide financial aid of 70 million rupees to the low-income families in the area under the Samata 7 housing loan project.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party Kandy District activist meeting was held today.
The meeting took place at the official residence of the Central Province Chief Minister Sarath Ekanaika and was attended by several SLFP veterans. However, the meeting was held behind closed doors. Following the meeting, party representatives expressed the following to reporters.
You can ask questions, but I will only say what took place. Today we came here to raise awareness amongst the SLFP supporters and organisers in the Kandy district on the 64th anniversary celebrations of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Ask about it from them.
Minister S.B. Dissanayake elaborated on the statement he made previously on the arrest of Basil Rajapaksa over the purchasing of steel for local government bodies during the run-up to the presidential election.
There were many reasons to arrest Basil. There is a tail that you need to grab on. This tail will see the release of Basil. Basil was not nabbed on whatever that was required. Basil was building a mansion on a 15-acre land in Kaduwela. He says that it is not his. He has paid for it all. He has also purchased 5 acres of prime lands in Mathura in the south. He denies that it is his. He denies that he owns the mansion and office in Gampaha. These are the serious matters. What I said was that arresting him for providing steel pipes to Pradesh Sabha chairman is not what he needs to be nabbed for.
According to Minister S.B. Dissanayake, Basil Rajapaksa owns 15 acres in Kaduwela, a mansion on a 5-acre land in Mathura, a mansion and office in Gampaha.
The Gammatha 100-day initiative, which focuses on finding solutions to public issues that need immediate solution, continues its groundbreaking work on a number of locations around the country.
Gammatha 100 Days, Day 25.
We've all heard the time-old saying, reading maketh a full man. For some, this is easier said than done. For years, the students in Thambalagamu in Kantale were unable to expand their horizons through reading due to the lack of a proper facility. The dreams of these people who were once battered by the war became a reality with the Newsfirst government the 100-day initiative taking steps to renovate the public library in Thambalagamu, which was in a state of dilapidation. Renovation work on the library commenced this morning with the participation of a distinguished gathering, including Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organisation, Nidra Veerasinghe. Apart from renovating the library, Gammatha 100-day initiative also took measures to supply all necessary equipment and the books for the library.
This is our 15th project. During the past 25 days, we have completed 4 projects and vested them in the public. Therefore, we are very glad to say that we did this together. Our chairman as well as our senior management constantly supported us.
As you know, the country's leading media network brands, Sirasa Shakti and Newsfirst, is very happy to be here on this 100-day initiative of Gammatha, where we'll commence the renovation of this library here in Thambalagamu. A very special thank you and mention to Dr. Mrs. Connie Pallewala, who has contributed very generously to ensure that this project is completed.
Over 500 people received direct benefits from the Thambalagamu Public Library.
මේ ගම්මැද්ද වැඩසටහන මෙතනින් නිමා නොකොට තවත් මෙවැනි සත්කාරයන් ඉදිරියට කරගෙන යන්නට ශක්තිය ධෛර්යය අපි ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන හුස්ම වැටෙන තරමට ගැහෙන හදවත් ළඟ.
A foundation stone was laid today for a multi-purpose building in Watamada in Hambegamu under the Gammatha 100-day initiative. This is the 5th project carried out by the Gammatha 100-day initiative in the Thanamangala Divisional Secretariat area.
මේ ප්‍රශ්න දිහා බැලුවම
When we looked into these problems, we realized that some of them could be solved with just 150,000 rupees. Some could be solved with a financial expense that is below 500,000 rupees. But all these problems, may it be big or small, persisted over many years. How many governments came into power? How many MPs and ministers were appointed? For how many elections have we voted for?
The formation of Gammat, the Savi organisation aimed at ensuring that these projects receive the proper maintenance upon completion, also took place at this occasion. As a youth in the village, I warmly welcome the development of the village. Therefore, I would like to extend my gratitude to the citizen media networks for the service they rendered.
Namal Karunaratne, the national organizer of the All Ceylon Peasants Federation, commented on the Newsfirst Gammat the program and persons who need to be imprisoned.
We cannot win if we remain separated. I recall the Sirasa Gammat the program. As a media institution, the Sirasa Gammat the program is extremely important. The media institution is doing what needs to be done by the government. They are building bridges, roads and also involved in solving the drinking water issues of the people. As a media institution, they have taken a positive step. This program grabs the attention of the people.
Namal Karunaratne expressed the following views as well.
Those who need to be in prison are out in the open. They commit theft, go to prison and come out as heroes. They are welcomed with garlands. This is the situation. Look at the former central bank governor Arjuna Mahendran. Rather than conducting an investigation on the massive fraud and punishing him, they have given another important position. They are taken along on overseas trips. They are the same ones who provide advice. This is the situation that we have reached.
Leader of the JVP, Anuru Kumara Dissanayake, says that there remains no difference in the conduct between the previous and current administration when importing coal to the country. He made this statement at a rally which was held in Avisabella.
There is an annual requirement of around 2.2 million tons of coal. This was the second largest deal concerning an importation of a foreign good. Number one is fuel while the second is coal. This commenced in 2009. Until the year 2015, the former royalty purchased this coal for 5 years without following any tender proceedings, by vesting tenders to some businessmen they knew at the time. That resulted in the swindling of a large amount of public wealth, and then came the present government which pledged to do things differently. They called for tenders. They did not call the relevant persons who should have been given the tender, but instead they chose another. The previous government refrained from calling for tenders and chose who they wanted, while the present government calls for tenders and selects the person who they want. The suitable candidate took to courts. The Supreme Court concluded that the relevant company belonged to a foreign company. Therefore, the court said that the case should not be attended to. At the end, however, the Supreme Court judges said that the purchase is heart-wrenching. They therefore issued an indirect order that the purchase should be halted. That's the type of purchase they do.
In February this year, Newsfirst team trekked the nearly impossible Kurulangala mountain in Vallabhaya and revealed details of rarely seen cave drawings on a ball of the mountain. Many of these drawings depicted bird-like creatures. We highlighted the importance of preserving these historic links of Sri Lanka, and today, authorities have taken measures to preserve and conserve these ancient drawings.
During the trek, the footage of these birds were captured, and these birds are rarely witnessed out in the open. Villagers believe that the drawings come to life, and this results in the birds flying over the mountain. These drawings do not show any link to any era in Sri Lankan history, and interestingly, there are clear geographical shapes. There are many life-size drawings of birds on this mountain wall, and some even depict movement. Among the drawings are some that cannot be easily determined. The shape of a human hand painted in red can be seen on a number of locations on this mountain wall. What is significant is that these depict the left palm of a human being. There's more evidence of ancient drawings on this 40-foot high area on the mountain. However, as these drawings were exposed to the sun and rain for many centuries, what remains is only an area of 8 feet. One of the reasons that this area has not been subjected to preservation is that the location is not easily accessible and it is also very difficult to find. On a more positive note, authorities have directed their attention to preserve these ancient pieces of art, and a group from the Department of Archaeology, the Andhra Pradesh Sabha, the Department of Local Government and the Central Environmental Authority were engaged in a trek to visit the site. It was noted that a road will be cut through the jungle to access the drawings, while measures will also be taken to place a glass screen to protect the drawings from nature's fury.
We hope to gather the people once a month, register them and take them to this location with a guide to educate them on this. Children and the elderly cannot move there. The journey is a dangerous one. It's been around 16 years since we discovered these historic paintings. The archaeologists say that the drawings are over 4,000 to 5,000 years old. There is no accurate information on this as the research is still continuing. Most of the drawings need to be preserved. Many parts have been destroyed with time. The ancient technology has made a way for water to flow from the back of this rock and then move ahead from the bush area. This might be destroyed in the future.
Even today, no one knows who made these ancient historic drawings or for what purpose.
Meanwhile, shifting your attention to some tragic news that made it to the headlines this evening. A former national cricketer and the chairman of the Galle District Club, Halambage Premasuri, has been shot dead by 2 unidentified gunmen. The incident took place when the deceased was travelling home with his 12-year-old son.
The shooting took place at around 8:45 last evening in the Manimulla area in Ambalangoda. The 53-year-old victim, Halambage Premasuri, who was a businessman by profession, was shot while he was returning home from his business establishment. The police stated that the shooting was carried out by 2 individuals who had fled the scene in a white car. The victim's 12-year-old son has also been in the vehicle when the shooting took place and is currently receiving treatment for serious injuries. Late Halambage Premasuri was a former national cricketer and the chairman of the Galle Cricket Club. He also headed the controversial Galle District cricket elections that was held recently. Premasuri has played 70 first-class cricket matches while representing the Bloomfield and Singha cricket clubs. He was also featured on the panel of the Inside Sports program, which aired on our sister channel, Sirasa TV, recently.
සම්පූර්ණ ගැන අපට නිලවරණ තියන්න කියලා බල කරා. මුදල් පවා දෙන්නවා නැති තත්යකට තමයි අපිව දැනුවත් කරලා තිබුණේ. ඒක නිසා අපි නීත්‍යානුකූලව මේ නිලවරණය පැවැත්තුවා.
17,000 acres of farmland that receive water from the Uhana Navakiriya government tank are among the first plots of land to be irrigated in the country, signalling the start of each farming season. Of this land, 400 acres in Rajagalathanna and Nogalanda fall under the purview of the Ampara district, while the rest come under the purview of the Batiklo district. This 17,000 acres of land is important to the entire country because a majority of this land produces paddy seeds used by farmers around the country. On the 13th of May, Action TV revealed that the farmers of the Rajagalathanna and Nogalanda have been left destitute even after following the instructions of the Department of Agriculture and producing paddy seeds. These farmers have been left helpless as the Department of Agriculture had gone back on their promise and had not purchased paddy seeds from these farmers.
Farmers engaged in cultivation after pawning their jewellery. We call on the authorities to intervene and mitigate our losses, provide fertilizer at the earlier price, and take immediate steps to compensate us for the earlier losses.
දෙන්න මේ වෙච්ච පාඩුවට කිසියම් සාධාරණයක් ගොවියෝ වෙනුවෙන් ඉෂ්ට කරන්න කියලා තමයි ඉල්ලන්න තියෙන්නේ.
Even in such a backdrop, the farmers of these areas took steps to commence cultivations. These visuals show the manner in which the paddy plants have grown 40 days after they were planted. In a backdrop where the government failed to provide the fertilizer subsidy on time and also failed to provide compensation, the harvest of these farmers during the previous season dropped by 60%. It has been over 40 days since this harvest was brought into their homes.
They say that they will take it into the warehouse, but they don't. People come to our houses to collect our debt, but we have nothing to give them. We will have to sell our produce at a very low price.
Over 5,000 farmers who have been unable to sell their produce are now faced with the tough task of preparing for the next farming season. If the farmers hope to engage in their activities next season, they will have to sell off their produce at extremely low prices. The Paddy Marketing Board revealed to these farmers recently that they will begin purchasing paddy on the 25th of this month. Due to the delay in purchasing of paddy, these farmers will not be able to come up with the money to cultivate next season. Aren't the farmers the ones who are being battered by the new fertilizer subsidy model as well as the lackluster performance of the Paddy Marketing Board? Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture, this is over to you.
In cricket news, Dhananjay De Silva hammered a maiden century and partnered with Dinesh Chandimal to resurrect Sri Lanka's innings after a poor start against Australia on the opening day of the third and final test. Well, before we wrap up the news, we have some news from Rio Olympics. World champion sprinter Usain Bolt advanced to the semi-final round of the 100 meters event at the Rio Olympics, clocking a time of 10.07 seconds in Heat 7 of the Rio Olympics. With that, we leave you. Take care. Good night.